Have you ever noticed how for some people, a simple comparison can land like an actual physical blow? It's not just, mild annoyance. It's this deep, visceral reaction. Okay, let's dive into the psychology behind why that happens.
So what's really going on here? Why does hearing something like, hey, you should be more like your sister, or your colleague finished this twice as fast, why does that feel less like feedback and more like a direct hit on who you are as a person?
And here's the crucial thing to understand. This isn't about having a big ego or being overly sensitive. The research suggests this reaction is actually a powerful, almost involuntary response that's rooted deep in stress and shame, all triggered by the simple act of being measured against someone else. To really get this, we have to kind of rewind the tape a bit. This intense feeling isn't something that just pops up out of nowhere in adulthood. Nope. It's often a learned response, an echo from our most formative years, from childhood.
This brings us to a really core concept called conditional self-worth. This is that quiet internal belief that your value as a person isn't just a given. It's not inherent. Instead, it's this thing you have to earn over and over and over again by meeting these specific standards that were set by other people.
So, how does a belief like that even start? Well, imagine a childhood where you were constantly being measured against a sibling or a classmate, where praise and affection and maybe even love felt like they were directly tied to how well you performed. And whenever you felt sad or angry or scared, those feelings were just brushed aside. That kind of environment, that's the fertile ground for conditional self-worth to take root.
Now, what's absolutely fascinating is how people adapt to this. Over time, they develop this really sophisticated set of traits to protect themselves from the constant pain of comparison. And listen, these are not character flaws. They are highly adaptive strategies for pure emotional survival. And what we're looking at here are 5 key protective traits that tend to emerge from this kind of background. Each one is a clever, even if it's unconscious, strategy for just getting through the world. So let's break them down one by one. All right, first up is extreme self-sufficiency. Think about it. If your emotional needs were consistently ignored when you were a kid, you learn a really powerful lesson, right? Relying on other people for support is risky, and it's often disappointing. So you learn to handle everything yourself because, in your experience, you've always had to.
The second trait is such a fascinating coping mechanism. They learn to separate their emotions from their actions. See, feelings became a source of pain or dismissal, so they taught themselves to make decisions based on pure, cold logic. It's a way to stay in control and totally sidestep the vulnerability that comes with, actually feeling things deeply. Now, trait number 3, this one is so often misunderstood. These are the people who will often just walk away from a heated argument. But you have to understand, this is not a passive-aggressive move. It is an act of self-preservation. Their whole system is about to hit emotional overload, and creating distance is the only way to regulate themselves. And this slide just illustrates the difference perfectly. The silent treatment, that's used as a weapon, right? It's designed to punish and control someone else. But what we're talking about here is a shield. Walking away is a protective boundary, a necessary step somebody takes to prevent a complete psychological shutdown. The intent behind it is completely different. Okay, on to trait 4. And you can see how this all starts to build. They internalize their feelings. Because their emotions were so often dismissed in the past, they learn to operate from this core belief that their feelings are just an inconvenience, a burden to other people. So what do? They keep them locked inside. And that brings us to our final trait, number 5. They are fiercely independent. This is really the culmination of all the other traits we've talked about. It's the ultimate expression of that lesson learned way back in childhood. When it really comes down to it, the only person you can truly reliably count on is yourself. So when we start to put all of these pieces together, we get a completely new picture, don't we? What might look like aloofness or coldness or just being oversensitive is actually a testament to a person's incredible ability to survive a really difficult emotional landscape. And that's really the bottom line here. These traits, they aren't signs of someone who can't form connections. Quite the opposite. They are the hallmarks of a quiet, a profound, and a hard-won resilience. They are the armor that was built piece by piece to protect a person's very sense of self. And that really just leaves us with a final thought to chew on. The next time you see someone react really strongly to a comparison, what if we chose to see it differently? Not as an overreaction, but as the echo of a long, quiet fight for the right to be valued, simply for being who they are.